Olá pessoal, eu sou a Kika e eu estou aqui com o Ryan Schneider, ele é o Chief Brand Officer da Insomniac e veio aqui falar com a gente sobre o Spider-Man, que no momento que vocês estão vendo esse vídeo, provavelmente já foi lançado, mas eu tô aqui na expectativa pro jogo. Ryan, thank you so much for being here with us. Welcome to Brazil, welcome to São Paulo.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And I want to start thanking Insomniac for not giving us an origin story. I don't think anyone wanted to see Uncle Ben die again and Pete being bit by the spider. No one wanted that. So you gave us an original story.
That was certainly the intent, and one of the reasons we wanted to take the project on from the beginning when Marvel and Sony approached us, actually, was the opportunity to do something new and different.
And that story that you created is Insomniac's story, is Insomniac's Spider-Man.
Sure. That is correct to a large extent, though we do collaborate very closely with Marvel Games and Sony, and they were absolutely instrumental in helping us refine the direction and come up with different ideas, and it truly was a great experience working with us with that group collectively.
So they helped you with the story. Well, did they give you some directives of what you could do, what you couldn't do with the character?
Marvel and specifically Bill Roseman, the executive creative director, were really instrumental in helping us better understand characters, and then we could take that. And we really did have a large sandbox in which we could play, and I think what you see in the game is what we were able to do is take the familiar and put a fresh spin on it. So, for instance, MJ, Mary Jane Watson, is an investigative reporter for the Daily Bugle in our version of the game. Norman Osborn is the mayor of New York City, and he's seeking re-election. And Aunt May happens to work at the feast shelter where Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative, is the founder. So there's a lot of different fun twists for many of the characters that you've come to know and love over the years.
And when Marvel and Sony approached you, did they want original story, or that's something that Insomniac brought to the table?
I think they were eager to see what our interpretation for Spider-Man would be, and I think there was likely an anticipation that we as a studio would want to do something new and different, because this is the first time or we're not creating a new intellectual property from scratch. That's what Insomniac is typically known for.
And how was the transition to work with something that is a licensed product and such an important one like Spider-Man?
It was really fine. I think when you embrace from the very beginning what Spider-Man is all about and that how beloved of a character he is across the world, you immediately understand that ultimate catchphrase of with great power comes great responsibility. And I know it sounds a little cliche, but you really do feel that sense of importance when it comes to working with this universe. And you want to be able to write a love letter to it. At the same time, you want to add your own unique stamp on it. And I think we were very fortunate as a studio to have that opportunity along with the collaboration of Marvel and Sony.
Spider-Man has been around for years, and this worldwide know, like you said. It has a lot of comics, universes, cartoons, animations, movies. How did you found the inspiration to the story? Where did you look for? How did you select what was going to be in it or not?
We know what happened, in our case, 8 years ago for our version of Peter Parker. He's 23 years old. We know when he was in high school, he was bit by the spider, and the rest is sort of history. But really, what was the next coming-of-age story for Peter Parker and Spider-Man? And that's what we were interested in. What happened when he graduated from university and he's out in the workforce and he's trying to maybe change the world as Peter Parker, becoming an aspiring research scientist? And how would that play with Peter being this athlete in his prime, if you will, or Spider-Man at the height of his powers, a true master of his craft? What would those worlds be like when they collided together? And we knew from the beginning that was a very interesting place for us to start.
Nowadays, we have the MCU, so we all kind of have hopes and expectations that those characters will meet eventually. We know the Avengers games in the hands of Square Enix. Can we expect anything to bring those characters together in the future?
Well, we're totally focused on the Spider-Man universe, and that is our emphasis. That is anything that Marvel does, that's up to Marvel. We're focused 100% on making the best Spider-Man universe we can, and I can't believe that within 24 hours, the world is going to get to play it. It still blows my mind.
So you announced the first DLC pack for the game with dates for the launch for the first part of it, even before the game came out. And some people got a little bit upset about it. They kind of have the feeling that, oh, this should be in the game. Actually, they're not giving us the full game. Did you expect this kind of reaction? Do you think it was kind of a risky decision to do it this way with
I
the
think
DLC?
it's very traditional in terms of a lot of developers work on their main game and then they focus on DLC, and we're doing exactly the same thing where like we have made a tremendously large game and now we're working on the DLC. There's no way we could have put everything into one package. We are telling 3 distinct stories that can complement the main game. The first one is The City That Never Sleeps, the heist featuring Black Cat, and I think people will really enjoy seeing Black Cat in a more featured role, and it gives us an opportunity to place her in a greater spotlight considering how many villains appear in the main game.
When it comes to gameplay, what was the main focus for Spider-Man?
When it comes to getting it right for a Spider-Man game, you have to start with traversal. You've got to have that sensation that the wind is blasting through your hair as you're swinging through Marvel's Manhattan and you see like the Wakandan embassy or the Avengers Tower and some of the iconic landmarks of New York City. It's got to feel really special and natural at the same time, like that you've been doing this for years. And that's a goal of ours, is that, again, you are this experienced Spider-Man and it should feel that way when you play. From a gameplay standpoint, we are hoping that players feel like they are acrobatic improvisers. You are in the air deciding how do you want to approach any situation. You feel like you have almost any number of opportunities at your disposal. You can yank somebody up in the air, web them to a wall, grab throwable objects, whirl them around and throw them back down at enemies, use your gadgets like the tripwire. We wanted the player to have a ton of options when they're playing in the air and feeling like they truly are Spider-Man.
Who is this game for? Is it for only Spider-Man fans, only gaming fans? Who is this game for?
I love talking about this because I think that's what makes Spider-Man special, is his universal accessibility. So yes, of course, this game is for Spider-Man fans. It's a love letter to them and all the amazing lore that comes with being an iconic character for 60 plus years. It's a game for hardcore gamers in terms of this is a deep open world action experience that we're thrilled with the reviews so far. I think journalists and critics are seeing how much there is to do and how compelling the storyline is, how varied the gameplay is, all the different boss battles. And if you are new to games or even new to Spider-Man, this is a game for you as well, because Insomniac has always been known for offering accessible experiences that ramp up the difficulty as you go. So this is a great way to be introduced to Spider-Man. In the case of my 3-year-old daughter, she thinks I'm friends with Spider-Man because of how much I've talked about him at home. So it's great that her first introduction to this world will be through a game, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other people like that as well.
The game was translated to Portuguese,
Sure.
Voices and text and everything.
Yeah.
And one thing that caught our attention is that the name of the characters were kept in English, and we have names in Portuguese that have been used since like forever in comics and all. Do you know why they opted to keep the names in English, the original names?
As far as I know, I think that's more of like a Marvel guideline. So Insomniac has nothing to do with that, but I do know that like Spider-Man is Spider-Man in many places across the world. And of course, I'm sure there are localized translations too. So that's a better question for Marvel, to be honest.
So what about the future of Spider-Man with Insomniac? Plans for more DLCs, next games? How are the plans going?
Plans are great. We're really focused on the DLC right now in The City That Never Sleeps. Like we just talked about the heist, and we have 2 more chapters coming. New villains, skins, enemies, lots to do. Very excited when people see what we have in store there. And it's been exciting for a lot of us to be able to continue the storyline or branch off in a different direction, and we're looking forward to talking about that more.
What about Insomniac's IP? Like anything for the Ratchet & Clank fans? Any plans?
So actually right now we're focused on a VR game called Stormland for the Oculus Rift. It's getting great buzz right now in terms of being like one of the most in-depth VR games that you can experience. So basically Avatar and cool robots coming together for an adventure with futuristic Insomniac-style weapons and exploration. If you haven't played VR games, this is a great one to pick up and try.
Do you have idea when it's coming out? Does it have a launch date yet?
For now, it's 2019.
Okay.
That's the focus.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the interview, and we're very excited to play the game tomorrow. When the interview comes out, probably people already be playing it, but I know I'm gonna play the hell out of it tomorrow. Right. So take the best of the holiday. Yes,
well, I can't wait to hear what you think about it, and for everybody at home, happy Spider-Man Day, or when you're playing the game, hope you enjoy it. You can find us on Twitter or our live streams 5 days a week on Twitch. We're on Discord, we're on Reddit, so we're everywhere and accessible to fans all around the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
All right, thanks. You too.
Então, pessoal, essa foi a entrevista com o Ryan Schneider. Muito obrigada por assistirem e até a próxima. Tchau.